Okay. Picking up where we left off, I think we're gonna go talk to Soul Ass, as I call him, because he is such a jerk. He's always been a jerk, and all the time I experienced talking to him in
Wait,
Inquisition.
that room wasn't there before, I don't think. Nev, or Harding, must have put my pack here. Makes sense. Better place to sleep than the infirmary. Guess I can spare a few moments to unpack my things.
Okay.
The on-time commander I took this from thought occupying Treviso was the same as owning it. I showed him how wrong he was. Freed a bunch of prisoners that night, including Varric. That's also the night the Crows kicked me out of Antiva for carrying out unauthorized operations.
Interesting.
It was the right thing to do, but it did bring the Antom down hard on the Crows. I probably could have made fewer waves.
I'm not 100% sure what this aspect of the game does. I think it's like building your character's backstory a little bit.
Varric and his life lessons. I asked him how we were supposed to stop Solus, and he gave me this. Take a long, hard look in it, kid. It'll always show the face of a hero who can get it done.
So just so you guys can see. And then tattoo options are related to elven tattoos. So if you played Inquisition, there's an aspect in there if you romance Solus, I think it's only if you romance Solus, where he will tell you that the tattoos elves wear, while they think it's a cultural thing, it's actually a holdover from slave times, and it was a way to identify various slave groups with elves. There's also a Dragon Age TV show that kind of hams up how horrible the other races treated elves in Dragon Age, and it's a little gruesome in the show. At least for me it was. The show actually takes place in between this game and Inquisition. So the tattoos actually are the way they identified various slaves through things like this. But a lot of that culture, like the meaning behind it, was lost. And that is why actually Solus hates the tattoos, at least in the last game. Because a lot of elves don't actually know their culture. They're going off of the fact that they've seen other elves do it. It's interesting because it kind of reminds me of some things I've seen with like the African American culture and trying to understand their ancestors that came from slavery and things like that. And picking up nuggets from other cultures because they've just, over the years, their ancestors saw it and so they copied it. And now they've made their own version of culture. And it has a different meaning now than it did then. But some of the older people who remember where those things originally came from are not necessarily fans of it. It is an interesting parallel that I did like about playing as an elf in those games in the Dragon Age universe, because it does parallel, in my opinion, a lot of like the struggles minorities go through, like especially in Inquisition, because in Inquisition they say a lot of bigoted things towards elves and how they look down upon elves, but then now all of a sudden an elf is their only option for salvation and things like that. So the fact that they're adding in tattoo options, it doesn't, I don't think in this one, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, okay. So they do it seems like they're leaning towards they didn't really understand what it was supposed to represent in Inquisition. It seems more like they're like, people like tattoos and we need to get away from judging people for tattoos. And I'm just kind of like, Yes, but if you find out the deeper meaning from like prior games, you'd be like, oh, okay, it's more than just putting a tat on your face kind of thing. I do like that they have added gender identity options, making this game more versatile and represent a wider range of people. Um, but yeah, that's just a little bit of Dragon Age lore that I remember and really, really like that they added in there. I think the only disappointing part I had with the last game was they had this entire aspect of elves overcoming, being looked down upon, being treated like slaves, or not being treated, being slaves, all these things. And yet they still made them look, only have like very, very wispy body shapes, very European features, even though their story more paralleled with people who did not really look like that. So I do really like that now in this one, the Veilguard, they've actually made more diverse facial features, hair types, body shapes, and things like that. Basically, I'm just singing the game's praises in regards to diversity.
A damn good-looking hero, if I do say so.
Okay.
A peddler gave me this after I saved his caravan from bandits. He told me the scroll went back to even before Tevinter. Said that elves had a rich history, even more than the rest of us. Too many humans look down on us, even though elves were here first. It's nice to have someone see how much our people have done. The tools every professional scoundrel needs when learning the trade. I spent as much time picking locks and mixing potions as I did training with blades or a bow. That precision, every reagent measured perfectly. The feel of the lock opening, it all just felt right. Right. That's better. Now, how do I connect to Solus? Just sleep or... Oh, relaxing. Maybe if I clear my mind...
Back so soon. It must have been worse than I had thought.
Hello, Dreadwolf.
Ah, but perhaps I am mistaken. You may be here to correct me, to tell me that my concerns were unfounded. I am, after all, remembered as the god of lies, treachery, and rebellion.
Whatever. I don't care. He needs to be hurt. Butthole.
Depending on the story.
And what story shall we tell now?
I need to know what the gods are planning.
You are asking for knowledge no mortal in this world is privy to. If I am to share it with you, I need to know what makes you the right person to lead the fight against Algernon and Gillenane.
Someone has to do something. I may not be the right person for this job, but I'm the only one left.
So your call to action is that any attempt is better than none?
Back in the Crows, I had to deal with the Arntam invasion. One night, I saw a unit getting ready to transport prisoners to another city. It was way too large for us to hit.
But you did so anyway, using unconventional tactics to confuse the Arntam and free the prisoners.
How do you know that?
You helped Varric pursue me for the better part of a year. It would have been foolish not to learn about who was hunting me.
Then you know that if someone has to make a call, I'll do it.
I suppose I was not so different when I started.
Started what?
My rebellion against the Evanuris, the elven gods as you call them. They wish to reclaim their dominion over this world. To accomplish that, they will need two things. First, the Blight. What exists in this world is a bare fragment of its power. The rest is imprisoned, until they release it.
All right.
The rest of the Blight is imprisoned? There's more than what's in the world already?
Yes. Centuries ago, the Magisters of Tevinter opened my prison. A tiny fragment of the Blight escaped. That fragment grew beneath the earth and led to the Blights that have swept across the world. However terrible the Blight is now, it is a mere fraction of what we will see if its full power is unleashed.
The Blight didn't escape with the gods?
Elganon and Gillenane escaped largely empty-handed, fortunately. Most of the Blight is still trapped in the prison I created ages ago.
So what we saw at the village, that's them not at full strength?
Correct.
Is that just the same question over and over? Let's see.
I don't understand. Elganon and Gillenane were elves like you, right? Why would they want to blight the world?
It is my fault. As the Dread Wolf, I was a thorn in their side. When my efforts weakened their grasp on the elven people, they grew frustrated, then desperate.
And turned to the Blight.
Once the corruption took hold of them, they were blind to its horror. It was just another source of power for them. Now they would blight the world without hesitation, and call us backward and foolish for opposing them.
What would they need to do to free the Blight? And how do we stop them from doing it?
They will need to pierce the veil to reach the Blight's prison. My lyrium dagger is one of the few artifacts capable of doing so.
We've already recovered it from the ritual site.
Excellent. Then they will have to make their own. That will give you time.
You said the gods needed two things, and the Blight is the first? What's the second?
Followers. They have called themselves gods. And what is a god without worshippers to sing their praises?
I'm not going to bend a knee to blighted, murdering monsters just because their ears are pointed like mine. I don't think many other elves are going to either.
Agreed. Elganon and Gillenane care little for the elves. They will find worshippers among those hungry for power. Tyrants and bullies. The cruel and the corrupt, who fear their own vulnerability and seize any chance to feel strong. If you hunt them, they will lead you to Elganon and Gillenane.
You want me to pick fights with tyrants and bullies? Sounds fun.
I gave no orders. All I offer are suggestions.
I'm on it. What else?
The Veravas, the lighthouse Soluvian, can take you anywhere, if you master its secrets. Have you done so?
Not yet, but we've got one of the Veil Jumpers working on it. She'll get it sorted, and we'll see how it goes.
Yes. I suppose we will. And when you speak with Varric, please tell him that I regret what happened.
Ooh, okay. Alright, so we are going to end the video here. And I will pick up right where I left off, because some of these conversations actually go a lot longer than I expected. I hope you enjoyed what you watched today, and have a lovely day. Like and subscribe.